In a time when musical tastes were divided along racial lines,
rock radio stations did not play any artists of color.
hip-hop's biggest act and a burned-out 70s rock band,
Aerosmith are pretty washed up. They've been in and out of rehab.
reluctantly joined forces.
And we was like, yo, we ain't doing this record, hung up the phone.
Steven Tyler said to me, you can't make fools of us.
And with one music video, broke down a wall for music and society.
Seeing the black people, the white people going, oh, this is what we're here for?
And invented the rap rock genre. Now, a video that rocked the world. Run DMC and Aerosmith, Walk This Way.
In 1986, African-American culture was at the cusp of what I call all of the things to come that was going to redefine what had gone on in entertainment.
African Americans had arrived in a place from an image standpoint where everything was conservative and right down the middle.
Hip-hop at this particular time is going through adolescent growing pains.
People still thought hip-hop was a fad, it was going to go away. People were threatened by it, or they just didn't like it.
Rap needed a catalyst to make it into a huge mainstream movement.
And that was such a funny time in American musical history because you had rock radio, which was for white artists, and you had black radio over here.
Radio stations were very segregated, and most rock radio stations did not play any artists of color.
It seemed impossible to please both white and black audiences with a single sound, but one hip-hop act was poised to be music's great unifier. But not even they knew it yet.
Run DMC from Hollis, Queens, Jam Master Jay, Jason Mizell, DJ Run, Joseph Simmons, and DMC, Darryl McDaniels. Run and DMC were in the front, Jam Master Jay was cutting the records up.
I'm the king of rock, the ain't none higher.
They started to put together kind of a rock rap synthesis very early on.
With Rockbox, King of Rock, they had built this thing that we're rock stars, we're rock guys.
DJ Run DMC, rocking without a band.
Just because Run DMC made what they were considering to be rock records, it didn't mean that rock radio was going to play it.
But Run DMC were determined to be the kings of rock, and Def Jam co-founders Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin had a plan to storm the castle.
By 1986, they started to record their third album, and that was called Raising Hell.
As Run DMC's working in the studio, Rick comes up with the idea to take the track Walk This Way, which had been what we called back in the day a sort of b-boy breakbeat.
You couldn't go to a block party and not hear that beat.
When you were in the park, DJ would grab 2 copies of that record and just play boom, tap, ba-boom, boom, boom, tap, boom, tap, ba-boom, boom, boom, back and forth. They'd never played any deeper into the songs than the beat because that's all they needed.
And he was like, yo, do you know who that is? And to us, it was just a break beat called Toys in the Attic, which was the name of the album. He was like, nah, man, that group is Aerosmith. The name of that record is Walk This Way. He gave us the 411 on the group and stuff like that. And Rick was like, you should do that record over.
I don't think there was really too much trepidation at doing it until Rick said, I want you actually to do Walk This Way, cover it. Take the lyrics that Steven Tyler sang, rhymed himself.
Me and Run was like, hold up, you're taking this rock rap stuff too far. Because we just wanted to be, I'm DMC, I'm the king of rock, coming on the block, over the beat. But Rick and Russell was like, no, y'all gotta learn those lyrics. And Jay, rest in peace, being the visionary that he is, he was like, yo, that's a great idea, man.
Jay was the street kid. So if Jay said it was okay with the streets, You know, that was sort of like he was, you know, given dispensation, you know, from the Pope or something.
So me and Ron, we went down to my basement and we put the record on the turntable. And now you gotta remember, every time Jay played the record, we would never let it play to hear the vocals because as soon as the guitars was about to end, Jay would mix it back into the drum beat. So the suspense was crazy to us because we put it on and it was like, backstroke level and hard needs to cover.
It was, among other things, the whitest thing they'd ever heard, and they couldn't decipher it.
What the hell he say there?
What are the lyrics? What's he saying?
Me and Ron got on a phone calling back to the studio to Rick, Russell, and Jay. We crying, we kids. This is the fakest thing ever. We'll never do these lyrics. This is hillbilly gibberish. And we was like, yo, we ain't doing this record. Hung up the phone. Then finally, after 8 hours go by, the phone rings, and I said, okay, I'll pick up the phone. And it was Jay. And then Jay was like, listen. And he went like this. He said, you hear that? Because Rick Rubin had flown Steven Tyler and Joe Perry to the studio.
Aerosmith are pretty washed up. They've been in and out of rehab, and they didn't have much of a career.
In the 70s, they were superstars, and they really hadn't had a hit in a while.
So we came to the studio. We was kind of bugged, because me and Ron, we went in there with attitudes.
For all of their love of hard rock beats, they didn't know anybody in rock and roll.
1, 2, 3, 4! We walked in. Steven Tyler, as to this day, I don't know how he does it, but he has all this energy. It's like a little kid that loves the world.
Steven helped bridge a gap there.
So we went back in there and was like, we're gonna do this record just to make these bastards happy. So we went in there, backseat lover, underneath the cover, talk to my daddy, say, ain't she, like we went in there and we blazed it.
Even if they weren't comfortable with doing the lyrics to what was a mid-70s rock radio classic, you know, they said, look, we're gonna do it very well, and did it very well, they did.
And Rick and Russell and Jay high-fiving each other, they going crazy.
Run DMC were a gold and platinum selling group at that point, but we really felt that they were on the verge of being much bigger, so we wanted to try and take them to the next level of success.
The music video had to hit just the right beats, and finding the right director would be crucial. Who could visually merge rap and rock, manage these supersized egos, and reach a multi-ethnic audience with one 3-minute statement? Walk This Way was a breakthrough crossover sound, but its video had to visually capture this never-before-seen partnership on film. So a star maker was picked to direct the video.
I just finished doing a Whitney Houston video, The Greatest Love of All, and Steve, the president of Profile Records, said he loved that video. He loved the way Whitney glowed when she walked across the stage, and he asked me if I was interested in writing on Walk This Way.
The budget was about $100,000, which in 1986 was a pretty big video.
Being that I had so many videos running on music television at the time that, you know, it was real easy just to knock on the door and go, this is what I'm gonna do. And I put this song on it, and they just looked and said, well, we won't be airing this. This is not gonna happen.
Music television back at that point in time was still pretty backward when it came to rap. Rappers? Oh, that's dangerous. We don't want that.
And I said to him, but I'm going to really focus on Aerosmith here. You know, you got to stretch the truth somewhere. And they said, well, you know, if it's 80% Aerosmith, you might have a shot, but, you know, we don't play rap because it would change the whole format. So I knew that I had a challenge.
When we went to do the video, it was the first time we'd seen it since we did the record. The things became, how was Steven? Oh, you're going to be with him for 2 days or whatever. So it was a little apprehension there.
Aerosmith arrived in this huge, huge stretch limo.
Joe Perry and Steven Tyler are fresh out of rehab, and they're feeling strong.
They walk in as rock stars with scarves hanging and earrings and painted fingernails.
There's Steven Tyler wearing eyeshadow and silks, and he's bare-chested in tight pants.
Run DMC pulled up like in a little station wagon, you know, with Russell Simmons in it.
Run and D are what, 20? 21 at that point?
They're wearing denim, and they're kind of hyper-masculine in that style.
Will Run DMC accept Aerosmith? Will Aerosmith accept Run DMC? Steven Tyler, the first thing he said to me, he goes, you know, hey dude, man, I'm into the song. I had a great time working with these guys, but you can't make fools of us. And I said, no way. You guys are going to be exactly who you are. It's really the meeting of two different cultures coming together, and the only difference is the wall between you, and it's going to be broken down. And he loved the idea. We had to actually cut out that little wall so he could actually break through. If you look at that over and over again, he is hitting that thing with that mic stand as hard as he can. It probably took him about 10 times to get through it.
But there was an even harder wall to break through. The wall between DMC's all-black hip-hop fans and Aerosmith's all-white rock fans.
Today with the performance, I needed to have a white audience in the front because it was really an Aerosmith concert. And what was happening is Run DMC were crashing their concert. I put out a radio call to have all Aerosmith's fans and then all of Run DMC's fans. And when I got there, there were literally about 5,000 black kids lined up outside. And then I noticed as I looked around that all these white kids were sitting in their cars and everybody was scared. That was the vibe. This was a scary thing, black and white. So we put all the white kids through the back door. When it got to the performance, it's Aerosmith on stage. So I needed to see a real white audience. So I started shooting with the white kids. All of a sudden, as we're shooting this, we start hearing outside banging on the door, banging, banging. These kids thought the video was going on without them being let in, and now it was just white against black. They broke the front doors down and they piled into the theater.
Everything that was meant to happen was happening. It was happening with the crowd without us even telling them. Seeing the black people, the white people, the rock people, and even the hip hop people going, oh, this is what we're here for? Yo, I'm glad I'm here.
I've done a lot of videos, and that to me was one of the greatest moments I've ever seen.
It was crazy. It was crazy the way it worked.
Profile Records laid out a lot of money to try to launch this band. Would this get on TV?
We knew we had something that would work. We didn't know how big and how well it would work.
And then I went up to the Music Television Network and played it for them, and everybody they were like dumbfounded.
They really loved it. They wanted an exclusive on it, and they agreed to play it in heavy rotation.
Run DMC had broken a barrier and created a whole new genre. Now, it was time to show the world what rap rock was all about. The Walk This Way video hit music television in July 1986 with non-stop airplay. The video was more than a hit. It was a movement.
1, 2, 3, 4!
It was a hit instantly. Everybody loved it.
The first time I heard about it was when I saw the video. I was blown away.
It wasn't corny, it was hot.
We loved it, and they absolutely maintained their cool. And in some ways, it kind of gave them more credibility.
It showed the public and the world that, you know, hip hop can belongs in the pop category as well.
It was such an amazing pairing because, you know, hip hop is like the new rock and roll. So for me, it's like the old with the new, so it was perfect.
Once they did Rock This Way, I saw everything change. Rap began to cross over at that point, and people realized and believed that rap could cross over.
All of a sudden, an audience for hip-hop that hadn't existed before this song came into being almost overnight.
Run DMC really opened the door to people like Eric B. and Rakim, people like the Beastie Boys, people like Public Enemy. Run DMC basically told the pop audience, we're just the tip of the iceberg. There's all this other great stuff out there. Go find it.
3 to 4 months after it, now you started seeing everybody in the street dressing like Run DMC.
We on tour selling out the venues. I remember we got to Chicago, and as we driving in town, the whole town is Adidas now. Adidas sweatshirts, glasses like me, the gold chains, and the hats. Detroit the same way, Boston the same way, LA, all over. I'm talking about we go to Florida. like down in Alabama. After seeing a whole world dressed like you, that was the realization when we knew this hip-hop stuff is really powerful.
I'm the king of rock, there ain't none higher.
Almost any category for a rap group, Run DMC was the first.
They were the first non-athlete to have a sneaker endorsement.
They got to headline Madison Square Garden and sell it out.
First to go gold, first to go platinum, first to Rolling Stone, first on American Bandstand, first on music television, first with the sneaker endorsements, first to everything.
The video also resurrected Aerosmith's career and introduced them to a whole new generation of fans.
Aerosmith was a band that had not made a transition to the video age. Walk This Way changed all of that for them. They went from being 70s rock stars to being 80s video stars.
When I interviewed Steven Tyler, he was extremely gracious about Run DMC and how important that video was to restoring Aerosmith.
After Walk This Way, we had Dude Looks Like a Lady. We had all these videos from their next album, which was a huge record.
It spawned a whole cottage industry of let's mix these two genres together. You got Public Enemy and Anthrax. You got Timbaland with Fall Out Boy making a song together. You got Justin Timberlake and 50 Cent. And you can trace it all back to this video.
Breaking down that wall. That was what the Walk This Way video did. It introduced the audiences on the rock side and the hip hop side and city kids and suburban kids and white kids and black kids and put them into common ground.
Fuel up your lighter for an all-new 10 great reasons you rock out to rock anthems.
One of the best things about rock anthems is that we all know the words.
10 great reasons. New episode Tuesday, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, here on Fuse.